It's 10 o'clock Mountain Time. It's Tuesday. It's January 19th, 2021. I never thought I'd make it to 2021. What do you think, Shane?
I don't want to overreach. So, it's just, let's be happy we're here.
I don't want to confuse anybody.
Yeah. We had a great show on Saturday. Well done there, Eagle Man.
Yeah.
We had a lot of,
if you missed our Saturday show, we'll give you the info on how to get over to that in just a second. But if you're new to our channel, hey, don't forget to subscribe. And when you do that, the little notification bell will come up, and click on that, and you'll never miss another one of our podcasts. Also, like us, leave a comment. Because Facebook puts all those things into perspective. And the other thing we need to announce, we're on Patreon. And what is Patreon? Well, it lets you help us support this show. There are some costs involved in putting this thing on, as you might imagine. Equipment and software and all of that is not free and not cheap. So we would appreciate any support you can give us. You can become a Patreon supporter of the show for just $3 a month. Wow. I mean, that's like 10 cents a day.
That's less than a Starbucks coffee.
I know. You give up one Starbucks coffee and you're set for 2 months.
Yeah, you can have the coffee, but just don't buy that muffin. And then,
skip the muffin and support the show.
Skip the dish.
Yeah. You become a show supporter, of course. Every show we will put your names up to let people know that you are supporters of the show. And if you want to go higher than $3, Shane and I will have some special perks for you that we will we will interact with you only directly. If you have business questions you want us to talk about, or if you want our advice on your business or anything like that, become a $5 a month, and we can do that. And there's higher ones than that. So depending on what you want to do, we are ready to help you out. So by all means, get over there and let's do that. So all right.
And we want to also, stress that, Tom and I discussed this, and one of the things that we thought was so important about considering doing this podcast was the state of where we are because of COVID. So there's going to be huge opportunity in the next year for people to start businesses because so many have closed. And so if you live in a small town and you look around and you knew stores or places that you enjoyed going to, or you patronized and they're no longer there, this is an opportunity to recreate that setting in your town. So, the advice we're trying to provide to you in this setting will go a great way in helping you get started and become a success in a time where others are doubtful, and you shouldn't be, because it's a good time to be alive.
That's true. We'll put the link to the Patreon in our descriptions, both on Facebook and YouTube, so that you can get over there and help us out. We would really appreciate that. Bruce says, sorry, Tom, Rush is talking. Well, that's okay, Bruce, because, hey, we record all our shows, so you can watch this one later. Listen to Rush to your heart's content, and we'll be here whenever you're ready. So you can listen to us as we go through the motions. So, all right, let's see what else we got, Shane. We've got to talk a little bit about some stuff here, because let's see. We're here every Tuesday, of course, and we'll select a business topic to help your smaller home-based business succeed in whatever you're trying to do. We do a political show on Saturday on the radio, 8 to 11 Mountain Time. So if you're into politics and want to hear our perspective on what's going on in politics, somewhat from a business perspective, I guess, as to how politics affect us in business, we'll talk about that every Saturday. And you can also watch our past shows at KMMSAM.com. Both our radio and our videos are there. Click on Tom and Shane's podcast. Our radio is audio only, but you'll still get the gist of it. It's commercial free, uninterrupted. So go for it. So today, Shane,
thank all those loyal watchers, because we've had it well in excess of 5,000 downloads. So it's working.
We just passed 6,300 downloads.
Well, there you go. See, I said past
Yeah,
5. Now we're
6,000.
past 6,000. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. Thank you, everyone.
6,300. Yeah, that would be it. Yeah. So, well, today we want to talk about how to create SMART goals for your small business. And one of the things that we can look at here, Shane, they need to be, of course, they need to be specific. They need to be measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So we're going to cover all of those, each one of those in detail. Now, the great thing about these SMART goals is that not only can you use them in business, but you can use them in your personal life as well. You can set your goals for your lifestyle as well, and that's a good thing. So let's dive right in, Shane, shall we? First one is you got to be specific. Increasing sales by 5% isn't going to do it. Yeah, I've got a goal. I'm going to increase sales 5%. Okay. How? When? What? Where? How?
That's right. And these exactly. And these are specific guidelines, these SMART goal setting. Now, another way of looking at specific or define a clear specific goal we covered earlier in one of our earlier shows talking about your corporate vision. Your corporate vision, which is a precursor to every other document we've talked about, which we'll cover in these as well, sets out where you want to be and define clearly your goal as a company and your product or service you're going to offer to the public. It shouldn't be more than 2 or 3 sentences, and it's something that you should type out and put it up on, in front of you on your computer somewhere. So it's one of those things that you look at every day to make sure that you're clear in your mind what your goal is specifically, and how you want to develop your product or service.
That's right. Yeah. For example, in your personal life, you might say, we want to save X number of dollars per week so we can take a vacation in August. And we're going to give up X, Y, and Z to accomplish that. So that would be a specific goal in your personal life. In your business life, you might say, we want to increase our customer base by 5% in the first quarter, and we'll do that by this, and that. So
That's right. And again, in previous shows, we discussed your marketing plan. And this is where this is very definitive, because in your marketing plan, you want to define how you're going to expand sales and how you're going to network and expand customer base. So these are declared and clear goals that you set out in your marketing plan, because the marketing plan also covers your costs, because you have to develop an awareness of what percentage of revenue you're generating goes to marketing. I can tell you that in a larger prospect, when you look at pharmaceuticals, there's pharmaceuticals like one of the world's largest. They generate over $37 billion a year in revenue, and a third of that is committed to marketing. So they're very specific in their financial statement and their marketing plan and their income statement of their expenses for advertising, as Tom has pointed out.
Yeah. In this case, the other thing that we need to talk about and make very clear is that you may have more than one goal for your company. You might want to increase your customer base. You might want to increase your per sale. You might want to save for expansion. You might want to have a new vehicle. Any number of things. So you may have more than one set of SMART goals for your company. So there can be a lot of these. So it can be, what you need to do is kind of sit down, as we've talked about with the marketing plan and your business plan, and say, what are my immediate needs? What are my immediate needs right now to keep the doors open?
That's
And think
absolutely
about,
right.
okay, I want a goal to do this. I want a goal to do that. I want a goal to do that. And then you can spell these out. And the SMART goal process makes it really handy to be able to pinpoint what you want to do. But the reason that the S is first is the goal has to be specific. You've really got to spell out what you want to do in each goal that you have.
That's right, and one of the most important ones, of course, is cost. The cost of providing a product, and or the cost of what the service you offer. You want to maintain those costs throughout,
Mhm.
and so this is a huge goal because the less cost that you have for labor or production or delivery of a product, and of course delivery of a service product by a third party even, if you can reduce your costs, you increase your profits.
That's it. Our next one. This is also extremely important because you've got to have a way. You've got to be able to make your goals measurable. So, for example, if I was going to train for the Olympics in the 100-yard dash, I would run a 100-yard dash and see what my time is. And then I would make some adjustments as to how can I bring that time down. What exercises do I have to do? What things do I have to change in order to strengthen myself to get that time down? Now, in your business, it may be your sale per customer. Let's say your sale per customer is $200. Okay, so I want to make that $250. So that's a measurable increase. And when am I going to how am I going to make that happen? Well, you know what it took to get your customer to $200. So what is it going to take to get them to 250? And what's the specific ways that you're going to do that? What's it going to take? What additional things are you going to have to do, either marketing, advertising, promotion, whatever, to get your average sale per customer up to $250?
That's right. Now you should have a window already opened on your computer, and it should have your corporate vision on it, and it should have your financial statement, 5-year projections. It should have your income statement, 5-year projections, and marketing plan, 5-year projections. And then you should open another window, and that window should stipulate measurable goals, and you should apply it again the same way that you set up the previous window, but on a daily basis. So if
Mhm.
you have a specific daily by month, recording every day, and then you can compare so where you want to be and where you are, because these
Mhm.
numbers are so important, and it takes less than an hour a day. Probably the first thing to do in the morning when you open up your computer and you look at your sales from the previous day and stuff. Yeah, yes, it takes time, but it's a commitment to time to follow these numbers because they're the ones that'll motivate you. So when you set up these flow charts, set as I'm suggesting, set them up on 2 different windows to compare every day to where you said you'd be, and daily where you are. So it's just a motivating factor for you as you go through the rest of your day.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Yeah, measurement is very important because you need to know, it's like losing weight. Your measurable goal is when you step on the scale,
Yeah,
obviously.
that's very
Yeah.
true.
You know where your beginning weight is, so what are you going to change to start reducing that weight? And each day you step on the school scale, you have a measurable uh, 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 sign that you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. So
That's
that's what
right,
we want to look at too.
here's a safeguard to this. There are a lot of people who have had wonderful ideas, and everybody's always concerned about the downside. Well, you need to be as concerned about the upside too. There are a lot of cases out there where people have overgrown. They've overextended themselves because they've been successful, and that's why we want to go through these SMART goal settings so you don't get
Oh, he just froze up.
Decisions, because things are taking off every day, they have to be measured. Goals are so important because you can, in a successful situation, be overwhelmed and find yourself successfully out of business. It's happened before.
Yes, it has. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, next thing we want to talk about is, and this is very important too, you've got to make sure that your goals are attainable with the processes and the employees and whatever you have right now that is at your disposal. So you got to be able to make sure that these goals can be, you can say, I'm going to lose 2 pounds a week for, 10 weeks or something like that. So I'm going to do a 20-pound weight loss. So that's attainable. Losing 100 pounds in 2 days, probably not as attainable as you might think. You might hope that you may set that goal, but it's not. It's probably not going to be attainable.
That's right, and that's why we recommend that you have a human resource table that you follow. And the human resource is so important because it provides you with a clear understanding of your labor costs. That principally number one, but also your board of directors and the assurance that you have of their advice for you to pursue. And even more important is that if you have a human resource table graph on to follow every day, you get some idea of where you're tracking to look for help or expand. With the virtual 21st century, your idea may allow you to have or create third-party participation, in vastly different places around the world. So human resource as one of your major goal setting tools is important because it's a global market out there, and that's where you want to reach, not just across the street or down the neighborhood, but on the other side of the world, particularly for products that you might have and services like we're providing. We're hoping that people globally might listen to this, so that it makes it possible for people to attain their goals, be creative and successful, and live to work because you're doing it on your own.
Yeah, in a future show, we're going to go over how to build your business with employees. So we'll cover that in a future podcast. So stay tuned for that as well.
It's important, yes.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, you have to have a diverse labor force as you expand because at some point, if you become successful, it's a matter of every day solving problems. That's what this is about, having your own company. Every day, solve problems. So having people in the right place to delegate allows you to grow. If you can't trust people and delegate responsibility to them, you can't grow your company. And this is one of the biggest problems for people that are successful as they move through a process, literally. There's a key number, and that's $1 million in sales. And then it jumps to 25 million. It is really amazing how many companies get to large success of growth, but the person in charge, the owner, the controller, the proprietor, has a very difficult time entrusting people and providing them with the right to be able to make decisions for them. So yeah, we will definitely have to cover that in a future show.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's see. Next, we want to talk about are your small business goals realistic? And we sort of touched on that with the weight loss. So you can't lose 100 pounds in 2 days. Well, you could cut your body in half, I guess.
Yes, that's true. Or cut a leg off.
Yeah, cut a leg off or two or whatever. Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, Tom's had new knees, so he knows
right.
he weighed less when they took his leg off to put the knee in.
That's right. Yeah.
But I don't know. Were you heavier because of the metal, or were you less because of it? Right.
I'm pretty sure the metal is heavier than the bone was. So,
I think so too. Yeah.
So there I am. Yeah. But yeah, these things need to be realistic. Is the time you're going to do this realistic? Is your goal realistic? In other words, is increasing your customer base by 5%? Is that realistic in the first quarter? Can you have you thought about how that's going to happen? Can you do that? Can you increase sales 5% in the first quarter on shoes or garden tools or um, your homemade pillows or whatever it is that you're doing? Is it real? Is it really realistic? Do you feel comfortable that that's a goal that you can reach?
And we talk about this a lot, and that's why this is so important at being attainable. All people that are consumers have to make a choice. Is it something I want or something I need? So you want to be able to cover both of those. If you have a product or a service that's the same thing, you want it. You have to attempt to get your client base to want it and to need it. If they want it, then of course they will continue using it, and we'll talk to people. But if it's something they need, they will talk to people about it, particularly if it's being successful. So wanting and needing your client base to consume your product is very important to attainability, and it helps you realize the goals that you have set out in this area.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very important. Yeah, it's got to be realistic. It's got to be, it's got to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and last but not T version, we've got to set a time limit for this to happen. So, if you're training for the 100-yard dash, the Olympics is going to come. So you have to you got to be ready by that time. And the same with the other ones. You expect to increase sales 5% or increase your average customer sale 5% or whatever. We set a goal in the first quarter. And so there needs to be a time limit where somebody is accountable for this. What did we do right if we made the goal? What did we do wrong if we did not make the goal?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's so incredibly relevant, and that's why the R of being relevant, like you were talking about, helps you ensure your goal and they ensure your goal aligns with the organization that you're creating. Otherwise, time becomes boundless. And I know that sounds difficult, but if you're successfully relevant in pursuing your goals and your organization is structured properly, then time is boundless for you. If you're not maintaining that managed control, like a managed lifestyle, then all of a sudden the assigning a target or a date becomes very difficult because you don't have, again, the ability to authorize people besides yourself, the responsibility to carry out your goals. Because remember, all this starts with you. You're the beginning, and regrettably, you're the end because you get paid last. So you
That's
always
right.
want to set this up to
That's
make
the
sure
sad
you
part
get
of
paid.
this. Yeah,
That's
that's the
right.
sad part of this. You get paid last. So
You get paid last. That's right. Your paycheck's the last one you sign.
that's it. So, all right. In review, we need a specific goal. Declare a clear, specific goal. Measurable. Make sure you can track your progress in making the goal, either daily, weekly, monthly, or whatever your goal is. Attainable. Create a goal that is realistic and relevant. Ensure your goal aims or aligns with the organization, and we need a time limit for it to happen and be successful. So that's where we are. So
That's right, and that's why this is a great overview for you, and it's SMART. So
mhm.
you can, when people ask you how you're doing with your company, you can always look with that tingle in your eye, that
Yeah.
sparkle in your eye. You can look at them and say with a smile, "Well, I'm doing it smart."
Yeah.
And that's a great way to open a conversation with someone, especially when you're always trying to reach out to new people and network.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. As they say, you can work hard or you can work smart. And that's what we're talking about today. So, Hopefully these goals will help you, and we appreciate you watching us. And Shane, say goodbye, folks.
I will indeed. Be happy, be safe, live in the moment, and most importantly, when you have your own business, live to work. It's great that you get up in the morning and you're excited to go to work because you're doing it for yourself and your family.
All right. Thanks for everybody for being here. Here's a little reminder to leave you with, and I will say goodbye as well. So we'll see you on Thursday. Mike McCormick will be here. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. So that should be fun to do. So, yeah. So hang on. If you're new to our YouTube channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button below the video. Click the notification bell so you'll never miss another podcast. Like us and leave a comment. Tom and Shane are now on Patreon. You can become a supporter of the show for as little as $3 per month. Or if you go higher, there's some special perks only available to you. Your help keeps these small business podcasts coming. You'll find this Patreon link in the description below. Thanks for your support. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next Small Business Podcast.